also ask your friends to join so that they don't miss out on to this opportunity because our speaker will also join. And leave it over to the anchors.
Okay, so we'll be starting now. Hindu Consulting Group extends a very warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for being here with us today. We really appreciate your enthusiasm and interest in our society. I'm sure you have wondered who we are, what work we do, and most importantly, how to be a part of us. So stay with us until the very end of the session to have all your queries answered. The session is also being streamed live on YouTube, and we have our audience there as well. So if you have any queries, please feel free to type them in the chat box or the comment section and we'll take it up. Well, rest assured, HCG is not only about consulting. There are exciting projects, yes, but along with that, we also have a dedicated verticals for research, PR, and marketing. Listening at times can get
Mhm.
boring. So instead, we are going to give you a glimpse of what HCG really does through a small orientation video.
Together is a beginning. Keeping together is working together is success.
Do you know there are 10,000 plus startups and NFPs in Delhi NCR running thin on cash flow which cannot afford high-end management consulting assistance? On the other hand, there are college students looking for real-world consulting opportunities to nurture themselves for the workforce. To bridge this gap and engage students in creating tangible impact, HCG was founded back in 2019 with Mr. Atul Gupta as our faculty advisor. Since our inception, we have sailed only upwards and onwards and have successfully completed 25 plus projects, some of the renowned names being Zomato, Galaxy, India's largest community app, Kutum, etc. Believing in network is your net worth, we have initiated a pan-India network of consulting societies with 5 plus international collaborations and 4 experienced professionals as our mentors from eminent consulting firms like Accenture, EY, etc. Proud to have launched the first ever edition of Hindu College Casebook, gathering a reach of over 2,000. In order to ensure holistic growth of students, we have held various workshops on modern day skills like Tableau, Excel, etc., and undertake research works as well. We have also published and presented a paper at an international conference.
Till date, we have successfully ideated and executed 10 plus international events with participation from 200 plus colleges with a cumulative footfall of 3,000 plus even through the online medium. Building the YouTube channel from scratch and currently witnessing an increase of 3,000 plus in the engagement rates, HCG is one of the most followed society pages on LinkedIn with over 1.2k active followers. We are a group of 40 plus consultants with diverse academic backgrounds and interests. Our members have interned at top firms such as Cushman and Wakefield, Grant Thornton, Invest India, YCP Citizens, Boston Analytics, EY, and many more. We have our strong alumni network who have been associated with renowned corporates such as EY, Accenture, CS, Gartner, and B Shaw, as well as the top three schools of India such as Indian School of Business, IIM Lucknow, and many more. In our constant quest for improvement, we aim to take HCG to even greater heights with the most innovative minds at Hindu.
We are ever keen to help the forthcoming batches by offering our practical consulting knowledge and experience and
I hope you all must have seen a little glimpse of what HCG really is. Along with this, as my partner just said, we have dedicated verticals for research, for PR, and marketing. So if you get to be a part of HCG, you get to be a part of all of these and obviously the amazing projects that we work on.
Hope you get a fair idea of what HCG does. If you have questions about us, we can take that up.
Problem solving, connections,
exuberant,
knowledge,
creativity, project.
research.
It is often heard that consultants need to be an expert with some prior experience, devote long working hours, and need to be from a commerce background. But wait, is it really the case? No, these all are the myths. Consulting is for everyone, and you need not to cut on your leisure time.
When I joined HCG, I had in mind that I would be developed in the fields of research, strategy, and data analytics. HCG has fulfilled all my expectations and given me opportunities I could have never think of, either be it working on the research papers or executing collaborations and working on high-end projects.
HCG really gave me insights into analytics, research methodology, and consulting, which helped me crack these dream companies interviews. And approximately 25% of my CV is filled with HCG's achievements and projects.
HCG has truly transformed me and helped me to learn a lot more about corporate communications, time management, leadership skills, cases, customers, preparing for interviews, research, and a lot more. I don't know how long will it take if I sit down listing them all. So, do you want to join us and be a part of this amazing team and have unlimited learnings and experiences?
Now, to make this session even more enriching and make sure you know how wide the field of management consulting really is, we have our esteemed guest speaker for this workshop, Mr. Aditya Kumar Jain.
Aditya is a financial services professional currently working as a management consultant at Accenture Strategy and Consulting. He has over 5 years of experience with clients across multiple geographies in areas of business strategy and risk management. In his current role, Aditya has helped clients uplift their digital risk infrastructure by improving their risk capability and optimizing their process to reduce operational costs. Additionally, he has also been a part of multiple digital and financial transformation projects. Prior to Accenture, Aditya has worked as a credit analyst and treasury analyst with RBL Bank and ICICI Bank respectively. Aditya graduated from Hindu College with BCom honors in 2015 and completed PGDM from IIM Shillong in 2017. We are delighted to have you with us today here, sir. Now over to you.
Thank you to the entire team. And I would like to commend you for this great initiative that you guys are doing of organizing these sessions for the entire college, especially the first years. So, hi everyone, this is Aditya, and there is no pre planned structure in which I am planning to go about this session. I will be presenting a PPT, but I would like to keep it as an interactive discussion. So, in case there are any questions, please feel free to stop me in between. And just a moment. Sorry about that. Got a knock at the door. Yeah. So I will begin by introducing myself, and I will share my journey of how I entered into consulting domain and whether I am liking it or not. What are the benefits of being a consultant, and what are the challenges that I have faced? After that, I will walk you through the presentation. And I believe that more important than the presentation, it is to understand someone's journey because everyone has a unique approach to how they arrive at where they are. And it will be really helpful for all of you to understand and know how different people have arrived at a place where you are aspiring to be at. So starting with my journey, I joined BCom honors course in Hindu College in 2012, and at that time I did not know anything about consulting at all. Just a second, is my video visible?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for that. Yeah. So in my first year, I did not know anything about consulting at all. I did not know what consulting is about, what are the names of the big consulting firms. I was aware of the big four accounting firms, which are Deloitte, EY, PwC, and KPMG, but only because they were auditing firms. I wasn't even aware of their consulting functions at that time. And my plan at that time was to become a chartered accountant after college. So I wanted to enter in one of the big four firms as an article trainee as part of the CA course. And at the end of my second year in college, I passed my CA, IPCC, or CA inter exams, whatever you want to call it. The names have changed. And when the final year of college began after that, then I noticed that a lot of my batchmates actually they were talking about college placements. And I came to know that Deloitte USI at that time actually was the first company to come on campus, and it was one of the best firms at that time to get placed after college. And I also noticed that a lot of my batchmates were preparing for their CAT, ZAT, NMAT, and all of these entrance exams for MBAs. That's when I realized that I had actually been ignoring all of these discussions for 2 years because I was very fixated on completing CA and joining an audit firm after that for as a career. And that's when I started reading up about MBA, what it is, and what are the career options after completing an MBA. Then I read about the top B schools in the country and how I can get into them. And I got attracted to the idea of completing an MBA instead of becoming a chartered accountant. And that's when I changed my plan. And I figured that it would be best for me to give CAT in the final year of college. And in case I am unable to clear it, then I will take up a job after college while I prepare for my next attempt at CAT. And so I gave CAT. Unfortunately, I was offered a seat at the PGP batch of IIM Shillong. And during those 2 years of my PGP, I had much better clarity on the different types of careers that were available to me and the various opportunities that they provided. And MBA is all about building your career and understanding which area or line of work is the best fit for you. So I think that gave me a lot of clarity. And there was always a lot of ongoing discussions about different domains or functions that someone should work in after completing their MBA. And therefore, I had shortlisted two career options for myself at that time in the second year of my PGP. One was consulting and the other was finance. And since my complete profile was focused around finance because I had completed my BCom honors, I had done CA inter and all of that, and it was also my area of interest, I decided that it would be best for me to either enter into the consulting industry or enter into the financial services industry. And then at the time of my MBA final placements, I secured a job with the corporate banking team of RBL Bank. I worked there for 2 years, and it primarily involved business analysis of financial services or NBFC clients of the bank. It was a front-end role which involved interacting with the treasury heads and other top-level management people and at client offices. So it was very exciting, and we actually did analysis of the business models of the company and the financial statements. So a lot of things that consultants already do, I was doing in that job. Then after spending 2 years there, I felt that I needed a change and I don't want to do the same type of work forever. I realized that whatever I'm doing, I need a change after every frequency. So then I realized that maybe consulting is a good option for me. And then I started exploring consulting as a career option. And I went through multiple online resources and books to brush up my technical skills and case interview skills for consulting interviews. And one of my friend's friend They worked at Accenture, and I got myself referred to in Accenture through that network. And they conducted a few rounds of interview, which I fortunately cleared and finally entered into Accenture, which is my first stint at consulting. And I have been working with Accenture for over 3 years now, and it has been a great experience thus far. There have been a lot of challenges, and the work is extremely hectic at times, but I feel that it's all worth it as long as the learning experience is good. So yeah, coming from a commerce background, I was actually unaware of how different technologies work because BCom honors doesn't give you that much exposure to different technologies and lines of artificial intelligence and all of that. And I have been able to upskill myself in these areas because Accenture focuses a lot on cross learning opportunities for its employees. In fact, this is true for all consulting firms. All of the consulting firms want their employees to be as skilled as possible in different areas. And can you just give me a moment? Yeah, so all the consulting firms give a lot of importance to cross learning in the with their employees, and that is what helped me in Accenture because I realized that there are a lot of different things that I am unaware about in the field of technology, and that's the best thing that I feel is about the consulting industry. And yeah, so that was a bit about my journey. I'll take a brief 10 seconds pause to see if there are any questions, and then we'll begin with the presentation. Okay, so starting with the presentation, can we move on to the next slide? Yeah, so basically this is the agenda for today. We'll understand what management consulting is, what are the different categories of management consulting, what are the different types of roles that are offered in management consulting, and what is the type of exposure that you as students can get during college, and how you can explore consulting as a career option for yourself, and what are the exit opportunities should you choose to join consulting domain. So I see that there is a question. I will answer that later at the end of the session. Yeah. So yeah. So can we move to the next slide again? Hmm. Yeah. So first of all, it's very important to understand that there are different types of consulting domains. There is not only management consulting. There is IT consulting, financial advisory, risk consulting, and management consulting, among others. And our focus area today is management consulting. So we are going to focus on that and try to understand what it is about. So as the name suggests, management consulting firm, they focus on high level problems of clients that typically concern the top management of a company. So basically things like how they can increase their revenue by launching a specific type of product, or how they can increase their process efficiency or operational efficiency, how they can reduce their cost. So it is mostly about increasing their bottom line performance, and bottom line, as most of you know, is made up of revenue and expenses. So you can either increase your revenue or you can reduce your expenses to increase the bottom line or your profits. So consulting is all about that, and especially management consulting. So the top management is always concerned about the profit of the firms, how they can increase the profit, how they can enter into new markets, and how they can reduce their cost. And yeah, so basically you typically work with top level business problems, and your interaction is generally with the top level management of your client. So generally the CEOs, chairmen, the board of directors, boards of management, etc. And that is because they are in charge of the management, and any recommendations that you give will require their approval and their go ahead to be implemented. Now it is important to draw a line between what management consulting is and what strategy consulting is. So it is important to understand that any management consulting firm is not always just creating strategies for their clients. Yes, it is surely a part of what they do, but the but from outside it may sound very fancy, and people assume that consultants are always sitting in the boardroom with the board of directors and the CEO level people, and they are drafting their short term and long term plans for the companies. But this is not generally the case. Clients these days are actually started asking all the strategy firms to actually implement the strategies that they are recommending, because a lot of times, although the clients have been spending millions of dollars in the strategy draft, but they are unable to implement it because they do not have the expertise to implement the strategy themselves. So once the consulting company gives their proposed solution and they leave the firm and they leave the client is unable to implement the strategy, and then it is of no use at the end of the day to the client. So they have now started asking strategy firms to also implement their solutions, and firms are now implementing their recommendation. So that is also part of management consulting. So strategy consulting is a part of management consulting, but management consulting also has operations and implementation within it. So yeah, so that's the difference between management and strategy consulting. Can we move on to the next slide, please? So now coming to the categories in management consulting domain. So they broadly there are four types of firms that are there. So the top dogs, you can say in the management consulting domain is MBB. It stands for McKinsey and Company, Bain and Company, and BCG. So these are the basically the top firms in the management consulting industry, and they are called MBB in short. You can also call them as the big three firms. Similarly to Big Four in auditing, these are the big three firms in consulting, and they are undisputed leaders in consulting. These are basically the target firms of all consulting aspirants, and they are the reason why consulting is such a sought after profession in today's world. So basically, these firms they charge the most amount of money to their clients and they pay the highest salaries across the board. And their work mostly consists of strategy work. They also do implementation work. They have their implementation arms, but the most amount of strategy work is done by these firms. And since their projects are extremely costly, a lot of clients generally hire other firms to do the implementation work on MBB recommendations. So basically, if a McKinsey if McKinsey and company goes to a client and proposes some certain solution, then the client may hire some other tier two or a big four firm to perform the implementation work because McKinsey would be too expensive for them to hire for such a long time. Then there are tier two firms. So you can think of these firms as specialist firms basically. So they have a niche area of practice and they are the leaders in that specific area. So for example, Accenture is the leader in technology and IT services. Similarly, Kearney is the leader in logistics and supply chain and operations management. Oliver Wyman is the leader in financial services. So it's not the case that these companies don't do other types of consulting. They perform all types of consulting. They are in all domains, but their main bread and butter is their specialty, and they charge the most for their niche projects. Their project rates are lower than McKinsey, BCG, and Bain, but when it comes to their specialization, the prices are closer to MBB. So, for example, for a financial services project, if you are looking at a project which is with a bank or with a financial services firm, then Oliver Wyman would charge the highest price among all the firms, excluding MBB. Their price may not be more than MBB, but it would be quite close to it. Similarly, Accenture will charge higher than all other firms for technology based projects, and Kearney would charge higher than all other firms for logistics and operations based projects. And then we have the big four firms, which I assume most of you would already know about. These are the biggest auditing and accounting firms in the world, and they also do strategy and management consulting work through their consulting arms. So these firms generally charge lower prices than McKinsey, BCG, and Bain, and also tier two firms, but their projects revolve primarily around business and financial strategy. Therefore, the main attraction for you as a fresher is the sheer amount of knowledge and experience you can gain at these firms. They may pay less compared to MBB and tier two firms, but their projects are generally of good quality because mostly these firms do strategy work for smaller clients or startup companies that cannot afford MBB for their projects, or these firms do implementation work for bigger clients on recommendations made by MBB. So, for example, if there is a small company which is unable to afford $1 million for hiring McKinsey, then they would instead go to a big four for doing the strategy work, and that could be a really good opportunity for the consultants working at big four. After this, there are the boutique firms, and it is very difficult to identify. To give a specific definition to what a boutique firm is. Generally, a boutique firm is a small firm which is specialized in specific area, and they have very few number of employees. And these firms, boutique firms, are very different from other firms in the sense that each of them has a unique offering, which varies a lot from firm to firm. Some of these firms may be an excellent choice to start your career, while others may not be. So it would be a good idea to research by yourself on the specific type of firm that you are targeting, and so just research on it before joining. These may be a good idea and or may not be a good idea. It depends from firm to firm. You will have to look at different reviews. So yeah, moving on to the next slide. Hmm. So coming to the roles that are offered in the management consulting domain. So firstly, the most sought after track is the consulting track, and this is generally offered to the top tier MBA campuses in India by all the firms. And this track involves working directly with the client face to face in their offices with the top level people and drafting their strategies. And these are the types of projects for which the firm charges the most. And however, these tracks are generally only reserved for MBA graduates, and they are not mostly offered in undergrad campuses. Then we have the research and intelligence track, which is also an excellent track. However, I think this is the track that is mostly offered at undergrad campuses. So what the people in these track they do, they perform research and they perform intelligence work for the project. So for example, McKinsey and company is working on a specific project, and and they need some data on say Southeast Asian geography. So for example, they are working maybe for some Indian client who wants to expand its presence in the insurance sector in the Southeast Asian market. Then McKinsey and company may reach out to their research and intelligence arm, which is called the McKinsey Knowledge Center. They may reach out to that arm and they may ask for some reports and research on the Southeast Asian market and the different types of the different types of insurance opportunities that are available in that market. And then they will use this data and this intelligence to make their recommendations for the client. So these types of roles are also reserved for top tier campuses only, and Hindu colleges, of course, among the top tier campuses. Therefore, I am sure that all the MBBs probably are coming to Hindu college for these types of roles. And then we have industry specialists. So industry specialists are basically some experts in the industry who have spent close to 10 to 15 years in a specific industry. So for example, if there is a person who has spent 10 to 15 years in a banking sector throughout his life, then a consulting firm may want to hire that person as an insider because that person holds a lot of specialty and expertise in the banking sector. So for example, if any any prospective client comes to that company and wants to offer that firm a project, so that firm will be able to leverage their network of industry specialists in selling their project to the client, and would basically that would be very helpful for the firm itself to perform the project and also to sell the project, having industry specialists on, because that is how you will be able to tell the client that we have two people in this team who have 10 to 15 years of experience in the banking sector, and that is why we are confident that we will be able to perform for you. And then we have and typically industry specialists are only hired from outside the firm, and they generally have 10 to 15 years of experience minimum. That is the bare minimum that they have. Then we have function specialists. So function specialists are generally people who have moved from the consulting track. So sorry about that. So for example, if people are working in the consulting track, they are generally working on common business problems, common strategy issues, business strategy issues. And maybe after 2 to 5 years of working in that area, they find that they are specifically interested in one particular function. So when you join a consulting firm, you are not assigned a function as such. You are working across different functions. You are working across finance, operations, HR, across different functions of a client. But after 2 to 5 years, generally people feel that they are attracted to some specific function. That is where they would like to develop their expertise. And then they shift to a function specialist track. And mostly this happens because as you grow up the ladder, as you become a manager, as you become a senior manager, or as you become a partner in a firm, you need to have some expertise with you. You cannot just say that, okay, I am a strategy expert and I can do strategy for any function, any client, and make me a partner. So it doesn't work like that. You need to hold some expertise, some edge over the others. You need to say that I know the most about the banking industry, or I know the most about CFO strategy, and that is what I am a specialist in. So that is why people join the function specialist role. After this, we have implementation consultants. So as I was telling you, these days clients have started asking all the strategy firms to do the implementation work also. And that is why firms these days have established implementation arms. Even McKinsey, BCG, and Bain, they have also established their implementation arms. What these consultants primarily do is that they work on the implementation of different strategies. They try to work on the implementation of different strategies that the strategy team has already proposed to the client. So that is what implementation consultants do. Can we move to the next slide, please? Yeah, so this is an extremely important slide for all of you because all of you are in campus. So since you are in campus and you want to enter the consulting domain, it is extremely important for you to know what are the opportunities and avenues that you have right now. So you should participate in all the case competitions because that will help you build up your CV or resume. And in consulting, it is extremely important how strong of a resume you have to get shortlisted because 90% of the people get rejected at the shortlisting stage itself. So if you have a good resume, you are already ahead of others. Then there are life projects. So life projects will give you real life experience of how to solve different problems. They will tell you how to think like a consultant, how to structure your thoughts, and that will really help you in any interview that you're giving, be it for consulting or any other job. Then research papers. Then within the consulting industry, research papers are valued a lot. If you have published any research paper, and that is for a specific study and area of research, then you can leverage that to secure a job as a functional expert or as an industry expert in a consulting firm. Then of course internships. So internships will massively help you build your network. So for example, if someone has already interned at an MBB firm, it is very easy for them to secure a job with that same firm or even with another MBB firm, because these firms generally look for people who are self-motivated and self-driven. Can we move to the next slide? Yeah, so now we'll talk about how you can explore consulting as a career option. We will quickly move over the 6 steps, and you can also go through this PPT later yourself to understand the nitty-gritties of it. Yeah, next slide, please. So first of all, it is important to understand what the consulting firms are looking for. They are primarily looking for 3 things among other aspects. One is the leadership ability. So you need to understand that all the consulting work is done in the form of teams, and you need to be able to lead a team. So obviously, initially you will join as an analyst or an associate, and you don't have to have that ability, but you need to display that if required, you can take up that task. You are able to lead people. You have that ability. Then achieving mentality. So any consulting firm, they basically are when they go to clients and they show that we will do this work for you and we will charge you $1 million. The themselves, they know their own salary is lesser than the amount that they are paying to the consultant. So you have to show to them that you are highly motivated, you are self-driven, you will work beyond the working hours, and you will do whatever you need to do to achieve the task that you are given. So you need to show your worth to the client. So you need to have that achieving mentality, and that is one of the aspects that the firms are looking for. The third thing is your display of problem solving abilities. So the entire industry of consulting, they exist on the basis that they can solve the problem of a client better than the client themselves. Although the client himself is working in his company for over 10-15 years, but a consultant goes and they say that we will solve your problem better than you can, and we will tell you how you can do it. So you need to have a structured mindset. You need to be able to show that you will be able to solve the problem. And yeah, so that is the other aspect that consulting firms are looking for. Now what you can do to improve on these aspects, obviously anyone can make it to consulting. You must know that it's all about hard work and perseverance. So you need to start learning and practicing, and it is a very long process. It can take up to a year or even 2 years. So you need to develop your fundamental skills. You need to embrace the mindset. Any problem that you approach in your life, just try to structure it, try to think how a consultant would think about it, and try to solve the problem. And then you would need a lot you would need some time to prepare for your resume, your screening test, and your case interviews as well. And of course, you can join a consulting society, because it will be a very good advantage for you. If you have similar people who can interact with you in trying to solve different problems, it will develop a structured mindset for you. Moving on to the next slide, please. Yeah. So of course, you need to network and you need to find a mentor, because, and this is not only true for the consulting domain. This is true for any industry. Generally, most of the jobs, as you grow up the ladder, you will realize that most jobs, they are not posted on any portals. They are not posted on Naukri.com. They are not posted on Monster.com. Most of the good jobs that are high paying, they are generally done through networking. And you need to have a strong network of people that you can interact with, who can refer you to different firms, because whenever a firm is hiring, one of the hygiene checks that they do is the background check. And if you are already entering the door with that in hand, so if I am referring someone in Accenture, then Accenture already knows that Aditya has been working with us for 3 years and he is a reliable person. So if he is referring someone, he must have done the basic hygiene check himself. And we can trust that the other person will also be diligent and will work with the company and is not planning to just leverage this to secure some other job offer. So it is extremely important for you to network. There are various ways through which you can network. You can network through your acquaintances, people you already know. This is the strongest way, obviously. You can network through events. So, for example, your Hindu consulting club, Hindu consulting group. So if you are a member within this group, so there is an event like this. You know that 60 odd people have joined this meeting, and all of these people are interested in consulting. So you all of you can create your own network and conduct similar events like this, and you can interact with people. Then the third is just reaching out to different people on LinkedIn. Many people think that this doesn't help, but this actually helps a lot. You reach out to 100 200 people, and one or two of them will definitely reply to you. They will definitely get your CV through the door. So yeah, so you need to network. Next slide, please. Yeah. Now, as I said, 90% of the resumes, 90% of the applicants get rejected at the resume stage. And no matter how many people you go to, even I or even anyone else, even a partner level person will not be able to tell you on what basis your resume has been rejected. There are a lot of factors, including HR checks, including technical checks, including background checks. So there are a lot of checks that happen. So you need to ensure that your profile is absolutely clean, because no consulting firm would hire anyone who has a blot on their resume. And if there is anything that goes against you, so maybe there is a gap year in your resume, you need to be able to explain that why is there a gap year, and you need to highlight your achievements a lot. And I mean, this cannot be emphasized enough. If your resume has been shortlisted, you have already won half the game, and that is extremely important. And then coming to presentation, it is extremely important to keep it formal and professional. Although in today's world, these days, I have seen a lot of fancy resumes, and those people have also been selected, which I don't think is a bad thing. But traditionally speaking, consulting firms expect your resume to be extremely professional and formal and in black and white without any colors. So yeah, so it's up to you, but my recommendation would be to go with the traditional format. Next slide, please. Now, any consulting firm, after they shortlist your resume, they will generally ask you for a test that they will conduct. And again, 90% of those applicants are rejected in that test. So at my time in Hindu College, I had applied for the McKinsey and Company position, which was a junior research analyst position with their knowledge center. And in that PST test, so there was a problem solving test that we gave. Out of 112 odd people, only three were selected. And yeah, fortunately, I was able to clear it. But just to let you know that 90% of the people again get rejected at this stage. So it is crucial for you to be able to pass this test. So go online, read what the test consists of. You need to break down the different types of questions that are asked in the test. So any question that is there in the test would fall into one of the question categories. You need to identify what those categories are. So for example, on the screen, you can see that within McKinsey PST question set, there are reading facts, there are fact-based conclusions questions, there are root cause analysis questions. So you need to understand what types of questions can be asked, and then you need to understand, you need to practice on all those types of questions. And it is generally recommended to perform a higher difficulty level test than what you expect in the actual exam, so that you are performing better on the actual exam if you have already practiced on higher level difficulty tests. So yeah, so you need to go online, you need to research about all of these tests, what are the different type of questions that can be asked, and then you need to practice for it. Next slide, please. Yeah, finally, after your PST test, there is a case interview that happens. Now, depending on the type of role that you're applying for, different case interviews can be asked. So, generally, if you're applying after your MBA to any consulting firm, they will generally ask you a full case interview, which is a 1 hour discussion. It contains a problem of the client. It contains information about the client, and it wants you to answer the different questions and what a client should do in that scenario. So it will be like a 3 to 4 pages case, which the interviewer will read out to you. They will not give the papers to you. They will read it out to you, and you have to solve the case along with them. But I don't expect that these types of questions will be asked in the research and intelligence interviews, and none of these were asked in my interview as well with McKinsey in Hindu College. And the second type of questions that are asked and that you can expect are guesstimates. So these are basically an estimation question. So for example, there can be a question like what will be the footfall of a mobile phone store in Ambience Mall on a Tuesday. So what they want to understand is, they don't want the right answer from you. First of all, you need to be clear on that. They want to know your approach. So it is never a good idea to just give them an answer, because they do not want that. They don't want to know the exact number. They just want to know your way of thinking. So generally there are two approaches to guesstimates, either a top-down approach or a bottom-up approach. In a top-down approach, you can start with the entire population and segregate them into different aspects. And in a bottom up approach, you can start with the store itself, with the mobile phone store, and try to understand how many people will be visiting that store on a Tuesday. And then there are technical interviews. Technical interviews do not contain any cases, they just judge your technical knowledge. So, for example, if a consulting firm is hiring for you for a financial services role, then they might ask you for a cash flow statement analysis question, or maybe a balance sheet analysis question. So when I was giving that interview with McKinsey after my Hindu college graduation, they had asked me technical interviews and technical questions in that. So they wanted to know basically they wanted to understand how depreciation is actually reflected in a cash flow statement. So it was a trick question because depreciation is a non-cash expense. But yeah, so they can ask you all of these types of questions. And of course, there can be group discussion sessions also, which I have not covered in this PPT, but you can read that online, and that is not that tricky, I would say. Then there is a 9-step process. You can go over this later, and there are different resources. Other than these resources that are mentioned, I would recommend you the book Case in Point. That will really help you with your case interviews and guesstimates. Yeah. Moving on to the next slide, please. Yeah. Then finally, if you are able to pass the technical interview, the case interview, and all the other rounds, then finally you have your fit interview, which analyzes whether you will be staying with the company or not. Which analyzes whether you will be staying with the company or not. They want to understand your motivation for joining the firm. They want to know whether you will be leaving the firm within 1 year, because you have to understand that if a partner level person is taking your interview, the rate for that partner is thousands, it's hundred of thousands of dollars per week. So if that partner is spending a day in interviewing you and other candidates, that is a lot of expense from the firm's side in interviewing you. and they do not want to admit people who are expected to leave. And that is why the fit interview is extremely important. They will ask you behavioral questions. They would want to understand your past experiences in which you have acted as a leader, or you reflect their traits that they want in the job. Then they will ask you questions related to why you are joining consulting industry, why do you want to join our firm. They will ask you personality based questions as well. So you need to prepare a story, 3 to 5 stories, which you can modify according to the type of question that is being asked. Next slide, please. And yeah, for the why questions, you need to understand that when they ask you a why question, they want a specific answer. They don't want an answer which 99 other people are also giving. So they want your answer to be unique, specific, authentic, and appropriate. So it has to be unique. You need to stand out from the crowd. It has to be specific. You cannot say, if someone asks you why you want to join Deloitte, you cannot give a reason of joining Big Four, because Big Four is Deloitte plus 3 other firms. You have to give them a reason why you want to join Deloitte specifically. So it has to be specific to the firm. Then authentic. Every interview will be able to recognize when you are being nervous, when you are not, when you are lying, when you are not being honest. So don't try to do that. Just be well prepared from your own experiences. Try to build up stories and don't fake anything. And it has to be appropriate, because if a question is being asked about point A, you cannot answer about point B. So if someone is asking you how you were a leader, you cannot say how you acted in a team, because acting in a team is different and being a leader is different. So you need to your answer needs to be appropriate. And of course, if they tell you why you want to join our firm, and you're telling them because you pay a lot of salary, so they will not take you, because they know that salary, if someone's motivation to join our firm is only salary, then any other firm can come and offer them a higher salary and take them away from you. So they want some appropriate answers that you can give to them for being able to stick with the firm. Next slide, please. Yeah, now moving on to exit opportunities. So generally a lot of consultants, they are doing strategy work. So they generally become strategy lead, product manager, program managers, chief of staff, etc. This falls under corporate management and strategy. So if a startup is hiring, they may offer a consultant a strategy lead role, or a product manager role, program manager role. So these are the different types of titles that you can get in corporate management and corporate strategy. Then there are banking and finance. So consulting involves analyzing of financial performance, of balance sheet, and a lot of financial analysis. So a lot of consultants, they develop these skills and eventually enter into different industries related to banking and financial sector. So they can enter investment banking sector, they can enter private equity sector. So the job titles here are generally liquidity analyst, treasury analyst, M&A analyst, risk analyst, etc. Then there are non-profit organizations and NGOs. Sometimes consultants feel that they have made a lot of money with their job, and now they actually want to use their skills and structured problem-solving attitude for improving the world. So a lot of consultants also enter these organizations. Next slide, please. Yeah, then public sector. So a lot of consultants have become politicians also in the past, and if they want to make an impact at that level, then that is also an option. But obviously you need to have other network also. It is not that consulting industry itself is helping you in becoming a politician. You have to have that network that connects, and you need to have that level of authority. Then a lot of times people at partner level, they quit the consulting firm and they want to do their own startup, because they have already made a lot of money and now they know how to crack the market. They are confident with their skills, so they enter into the startup world. Similarly, if someone is very confident in with their consulting skills, they can go for independent consulting, because a lot of times consultants feel that the firm is not paying them enough. It is charging more to the client than what it is paying to them. So a lot of people want to do independent consulting. It can go right or wrong depending on the type of person, but that is definitely an option. And yeah, and I think that is it from
Yes,
my
sir.
side.
That's
I think we are out of time, but if there are any questions, I will be happy to answer them offline.
Yeah, and so if with your due permission, can I please share your LinkedIn profile so if people want to connect with you and have some insights,
Yeah, yeah,
they can.
sorry about that. That's
All
fine.
right, sure.
Participants, I have shared the LinkedIn profile in the chat box. You might send a connection request to sir. In case you have any questions, feel free to connect with him. We hope that it was an insightful session. Handing it over to the anchors.
Thank you so much for the insightful words. So we truly have learned a lot about the world of management consulting, and I'm sure freshers have also gained a clear perception of the same. As a token of gratitude, we want to present you a memento. Thank you so much for
Thank,
joining.
thank you.
Thank you so much for joining in, sir. We really appreciate you taking time for us. We request the participants to stay back in the meeting as we come to the most exciting aspect of it.
So, here's the moment you all have been waiting for. Hindu Consulting Group presents to you exclusively for first year Hindu college students Campus Case Challenge 3.0. And well, as Sir said, an important aspect of consulting aspirants from college are case study competitions. And of course, once you get to be a part of HCG, you will be able to have access to research paper, skill building sessions, knowledge sessions, and of course the projects. But here we have a certain perk. These projects that you do, you will be able to write them as internships as well in your resumes. Curious to know what it is? We organize a campus case challenge every year for the incoming fresher batch in order to give you an apt exposure to case studies. The participants will be sent a case study competition and will be required to submit a well thought solution to the same within 48 hours. You can either participate as lone wolves or, of course, in teams of two.
You'll be excited to know that the winners of the competition will get direct entry into HCG, a merit certificate signed by a society president and teacher in charge. But wait, the list doesn't end here. The winners will also get customized hoodie and exposure to various essential skills like presentation, strategy, research, along with personalized feedback. What makes you eligible? Students of batch of 25 and 26 of all courses of Hindu College are welcome to join in. Some of the important dates that we would like you to remember are the registrations will close on 9th of November. We'll send you a problem statement by 10th noon. The submission for the case solution will be on 12th November EOD, and the case presentation will be on 14th November. We suggest that you do not miss out on any deadlines because the extension of the same won't be possible.
Well, solving case studies might be a new thing for a lot of you. So, case buddies, that will be the members of HCG, will be assigned to the teams in order to guide you through the entire process. All the guidelines regarding the campus case challenge will be shared with you along with the problem statement. The presentation with the best analysis, visible problem solving skills, and out of the box creative solutions would win. The registration link will be sent to the orientation group. Kindly fill it out before 9th November EOD. We wish you all the best for the competition.
The floor is now open for questions. Please feel free to ask anything about the competition, society, or the recruitment process in general. You can unmute yourself or write down the queries in the chat box.
Yeah. And Vikansh, can we please have the last slide? Yeah. And with all of this, okay, Shubham, we'll take up your question also. With all of this, we wish you all the very best. We hope that you find good teammates and have a great learning time. The registrations form will be open very, very soon, and you'll be notified for everything. Okay, taking up Shubham's question, what is the format for this inform that it is supposed to be in the PDF format only. So you will be creating a PowerPoint presentation. You'll be sharing it through any of the application or through the MS PowerPoint with us. What is the maximum number of team members for the competition? Either you alone can participate, or if you've got a friend, so both of you can participate as a team. Not more than two members are allowed in one team. Okay, Kirti, would you like to take that first or shall I?
Yeah, sure. So, Pratit is asking about the recruitment process apart from the competition. So, yeah, one way to join the society is taking part in the campus stage challenge and winning it. The other way is the normal recruitment process where we'll float our forms in your respective departments. You can fill that out. The first step is form based shortlisting. So, all the shortlisted candidates will be interviewed, and finally, the members who are able to make it through the interview round will be a part of HCG then. So that's the whole recruitment process.
Okay, so Pranav, thank you for your good words that it was a nice session. We are really glad that it was a value add on to you. Talking about how we have an edge, I hope that we informed that in the beginning itself. And talking about Abhyas and Disha, they are totally different because they don't give you an exposure for consulting. So if you're a consulting enthusiast or if you've got a knack in problem solving, and of course you can explore it by solving the campus case question also, you might explore whether you are interested in that or not. But yes, Abhyas and Disha work in a different domain and we are consulting oriented. Talking about how we are different from 180 DC is, Kirti, will you explain that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So basically, HCG is a society which is homegrown. So we do not have any orders coming in. We were formed in 2019, and unlike 180 DC, which only deals with social impact projects, we deal with all kind of projects, including social impact. So we deal with projects from NGOs, from startups, from well-established firms. Sometimes we even receive projects from well-funded companies. So that is the major difference in the version. Apart from that, the difference is in terms of the initiatives that we have taken. So number one is our research and analytics vertical, where we publish research papers. The other is in the casebook that we have launched. So the first edition of Hindu College's first ever casebook was launched last year. This year we will be launching the second edition, and there are multiple other initiatives. I think Yuvita, you can probably add on in case
All
I
right.
miss out any.
Okay. So, apart from all these technical terms, I hope that we explain that in the video itself, and those will be shared on our social media as well. So stay tuned there. We have the examples of whatever we do here, what all we do. We've published our annual report. So just go and have a look right now so that you can get an idea what we do here. And apart from that, it's not only work, it's a lot. So we are sitting here today with a lot of exposure, and I will like to say that yes, this was something. This decision of mine really helped me to transform myself. So I think that is in itself a big answer. Uh, so I hope that it answers your question why 180 and SPG, and of course the decision lies on you. I think we can go ahead. Rajat,
There
if
is
you
just one more question in the chat box, and I believe Lakshya has also asked it previously. It is like, are we allowed to join only one out of 180 degrees and
have.
HCG? So yes, guys, you are right. So since because we do deal in relatively very similar kind of work structure, so you can't be part of both the societies. We maintain a mutually exclusive member base, like Disha and Abhyas, and like any other society which deals in the same domain. So as to not lead to overlapping of members, as well as to get maximum people at Hindu get the exposure of the things that Hindu has to offer, right?
And no
So I hope that
overlapping
answers the question.
should be there because the domains are same. So that is one thing. There's nothing as such that this is something negative or there's something positive in the other. Both are good. The decision lies on you. But since the domain is same, that is why you can be a part of only one at one time.
Okay.
Okay.
There's a question about CA journey as well. Devanshu, are you here? Okay. Rajat, would you like to take this up?
We've started as well. We
Right.
have
So
students. Yeah.
Sarthak, would you like to add on or shall I? Cool. Okay. So I'm pursuing myself CA. So guys, the subjects that we deal in CA, like consulting is always a domain which has, work entailing from each and every domain. So be it from, you are from humanities stream, science streams, or like be it from commerce, it has so much to offer for all of you, right? So if particularly talking about CA technical terms, there is a subject called strategic management in CA Inter, right? So So that is particularly all about consulting. So it can definitely help you in your consulting journey. And there are many CAs you can come across on LinkedIn who, after completing their CA, transition into consulting and are working with top consulting companies, big MBBs, etc. So yeah, I hope that answers your questions. And yeah, again, answering Arindom, I hope I'm pronouncing it right. No, you need not to be like, consulting is very background diverse, and we welcome members from all the backgrounds, and we definitely do not expect you to know everything and anything. Just we need you guys to be willing learners, passionate about consulting, and just initiate to take risk. That's all it takes. The rest we are here to teach you at HCG.
Yeah, and taking up Sneha's question, okay, to so that to be clear, since Vanity and HEG are consulting oriented and Disha and Abhyas are placement and internship oriented things. So both of their domains are same. So either you can join Disha or you can join Abhyas, or for consulting things, if you have interest there, then you can either join Vanity or you can join HCG. But you can join either HCG or Disha at the same time, or HCG or Abhyas, or Vanity or Disha, or Vanity or
Okay.
Abhyas.
Just to make it clear, I was myself a member of Abhyas an year
Right.
ago, and the vice president of Disha is also a member of HCG. So I hope it's clear now. There's an okay. I just want to add on to what Rajat said for Arindam's question. So I'm myself not from a commerce background. I am from a science background. So I had PCM till class 12. I had absolutely zero contacts in the corporate world. None of my family members are in the corporate world, but I was still able to make it to like consult to a consultant firm. That was just because I was genuinely very interested in consulting. And just like you guys, 2 years back, I participated in Campus Days Challenge for the first time. And that's when I realized that I genuinely want to do this. I realized what problem solving is and how I'm sort of made for this, like problem solving. I always had a solution oriented mindset, and I realized I'm best able to use my capabilities in this field. So
Exactly.
you
Yeah, so that
promote. So yeah.
that develops your interest. Karthik, you will be informed about everything. Firstly, you'll be sent the problem statement, and then you'll have to submit the solution over mail. Post that, the top teams will be whoever will be selected, they'll be informed about the further process, and they'll have to come for a presentation, and we'll inform all the details about the presentation thing very, very soon. Taking up Karthik's question, how do we really know or need to go about the case solution process and its technical presentation? Taking it in reference to the campus case thing that we have. So we'll be, assigning you case buddies also who will help you with that. So in case you come across any doubts, you can surely reach out to them at any point of time. And apart from that, we wish you all the very best. Think out loud and think out all the ways possible. Just go through the problem statement, and that's how you will learn gradually. This is how it works. Then,
Just think out of the box, guys.
yeah, exactly. Can HCG help in pursuing financial consulting? Okay, so Kitty, would you like to take that up?
A financial consultant is like a part of consulting. So I think first of all you need to take up some time and learn what consulting is. Once you get a hand of it, you can certainly delve deeper into other types of consulting, including financial consulting. So I think we can certainly help you build that foundation of consulting by the different kind of projects that we take up. Some of these projects may or may not be into financial consulting, but there are a few projects usually that are related to finance or that have some aspect of financial consulting into it. So I hope we'll be able to take care of that.
And that is the very good thing about consulting, that it makes you a multitasker and helps you to explore a lot of things. So you can explore your interest gradually also. Picking up Devesh's question, do we have different verticals in this campus case? No, there's nothing as such verticals. There is one problem statement. If you register for this, you will be sent that problem statement. You'll be given a stipulated time, and in that you have to submit your solution. If you get shortlisted, you'll be called for a presentation, and that is how it works. It is not rigid. It will be just a problem statement, a mere case study question type of thing, and you have to frame your solutions uh, for that. That is what I can say right now. And yes, we'll be providing you with case studies, highlighting it again, and proper resources also, so that you do not find it difficult to answer the question. Would it be very hectic to manage the society, other societies along with the academic? Okay. All right. So, Ankush, we do understand your thing as the college is happening in the offline mode. So yeah, that basically depends on your time management. Of course, it is not that hectic. Maybe you are
So how to be a
anticipating the festival.
multitasker in college, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
Because in our first years also, we were also part of many societies, and we were also pursuing the academics and everything. So I think,
you'll have to manage competitions, internships, societies, academics all at once. It's overwhelming, but at the same time, it's exciting. Trust me,
Right.
very
And yeah, like, and to summarize it from our end, we obviously plan our schedule ahead, way ahead, and we'll plan it such a way that your academics in particular are not compromised itself, since it's your first year only, right? So we definitely understand that you people value that very much. So definitely, we'll take everything into consideration. Your classes won't be impacted as such. However, about time commitments, it's generally manageable. However, if like, it's totally upon you how many initiatives you take, right? So once you're part of projects, you need to like adhere to deadlines. Besides that, it's very convenient. We are very flexible as a society, and yeah, I mean, you will have fun time working with us.
yeah, and not about flexibility. Like it also depends on how you plan your day. And apart from that, there are a lot of things. So don't forget to enjoy, because we are always there to help you guys out with whatever problems you face. So we will ensure that that does not create a problem, of course. Case situation, it will give us a clear idea about it. Okay. So any case situation, a normal one. All right. So it is just like anything that, suppose a restaurant outside your college is facing some problems, like they are not getting proper customers or something like that. So what are the things that you'll have in mind to, or what are the factors that you'll consider to analyze why are the customers not coming at the
and then
proper
maybe
time, or why
take
are they facing the
solutions
problem?
to kind of deal with those problems as well. So basically, the
Like
marketing strategies, the PR strategies, and things like that.
you'll be
It's just
checking, like, yeah, is the restaurant properly opening or not? Because there might be a possibility that it is not opening properly, or are they, able to fulfill with the demand that the customers are having? So there are a lot of factors that you'll be analyzing. Just point them out and frame your solutions accordingly. So that is how a case thing works. I hope that
try
answers.
to give strategies, the strategies which are implementable and feasible for the client to actually execute.
And to be very clear, we know that you are freshers, you are just the beginners in this thing. So we'll just consider your level of understanding also for that. So you need not to panic. Just once you get the problem statement, go through it thoroughly. Yeah. Thank you, Satviki. Thank you. Our pleasure.
Right, guys, we'll be taking just one last question if we have any, else we're wrapping it up since we are already past the deadline. So yeah, if we have any questions, feel free to shoot up right now.
And stay tuned on our social media handles and the WhatsApp group, because we'll be sharing the details for the registration forms very, very soon.
Perfect. Then I guess there are no further questions. Aditi, we can wrap it up.
Right.
Thank
Thank you everyone for joining in. Hope this was an insightful session for you as well. Reiterating, all the updates will go up on our WhatsApp group, and I'm sure you all must have joined in. In case you do know anyone, any of your friends who wish to join it and still haven't, they can reach out to any of us at any time. Thank you again for being such a wonderful audience. Hope to see this enthusiasm and zeal in the case competition as well. Thank you for joining in, guys.
And go run, find your team partners, so that, once you get the problem statement, get into your shoes, frame the solutions. We are excited to have your solutions, guys. All the very best. Looking forward to see you all.
All the best, guys.
Thank you.